Tehran's foreign ministry announced that Iran and Oman have agreed on a proposed shipping route through the Strait of Hormuz.
FIFA President Gianni Infantino is set to keep his position following a crisis meeting with senior executives on Wednesday, but calls for his resignation continue amid a collapsed investment plan.
Hiroshima commemorated the 81st anniversary of the U.S. atomic bombing of the city on Thursday with a ceremony held at the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park.
Iran and Oman have agreed on a proposed shipping route through the Strait of Hormuz, Tehran's foreign ministry announced on Wednesday. Tehran said the agreement includes technical, legal, security, and environmental points. Official sources told Iranian media that the final touches were being added to the deal and that any reopening of the strait would depend on the United States ending its naval blockade of Iran's ports. U.S. President Donald Trump has repeatedly insisted Tehran is keen to do a deal to reopen the route to shipping, but Iran denies this and says the U.S. is not involved in the negotiations with Oman. Iran also said that even if an understanding was reached, it would not mean that the strait had become safe for all passing vessels. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen condemned what she called horrible atrocities by Moscow on Wednesday following a deadly overnight attack on the Kyiv region. She said Ukraine would soon receive 1.4 billion euros from proceeds generated by immobilized Russian assets to fund its war effort. The EU froze around 200 billion euros of Russia's international reserves shortly after Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. While the assets remain untouched, the profits generated from them have been used to support Ukraine. Von der Leyen announced the latest funding after at least 17 people were killed in Russian ballistic missile and drone attacks on Kyiv. Russia has intensified its attacks on Ukraine in recent weeks, striking several civilian targets. 4 previous tranches of windfall profits from Russia's frozen assets have been transferred to Kyiv, the latest in March this year, with Wednesday's announcement bringing the total to 8 billion euros.
German police deployed a bomb disposal robot at Germany's Leipzig Halle airport overnight after a drone was found on the tarmac near a Ukrainian cargo plane, sparking alarm and forcing the diversion of numerous flights. A DHL cargo aircraft that had to abort its scheduled landing at the airport then collided mid-air with a drone, sustaining minor damage, before landing safely at Hanover Airport. A NATO spokesperson later confirmed that a drone equipped with explosives and a detonator had been found near an aircraft belonging to Kyiv's cargo carrier Antonov Airlines. Ukrainian media outlets later reported that the item was carefully taken off the tarmac and destroyed in a controlled explosion. The airport in eastern Germany plays a key role in the transport of military goods, including by the German military and NATO allies, and also serves as a base for Ukraine's Antonov Airlines.
The barge sinking operation has been postponed by 1 day. The reason behind this decision is the safety of the divers involved in this operation. Following the destruction of that Pâljoaia rock formation, the Danube's flow has changed, creating currents that are too strong to carry out a safe controlled sinking.
În urma analizei pe care am realizat-o în această ședință operativă, s-a luat decizia ca operațiunea de scufundare a celor 4 barge să continue începând de mâine dimineață, în condiții de siguranță, în așa fel încât să nu ne prindă seara cu această activitate. Este posibil să fie o suplimentare a bugetului alocat, având în vedere că identificăm noi și noi soluții de intervenție.
The sinking of the barges represent the final stage of the operation that began after the detonation of the Pâljoaia rock. The barges will form an artificial barrier on the Bala-Danube branch with the purpose of diverting more of the Danube's flow toward the Chernavoda nuclear power plant.
Vestea bună este că în toată perioada până la începutul săptămânii viitoare vorbim despre o stabilizare a debitelor de 1400 de metri cub pe secundă. Prognoza indică faptul că am câștigat 2-3 zile în plus pentru menținerea debitelor minime în vederea funcționării centralei de la Cernavoda.
However, experts say that this stabilization is not enough. For the water level to rise by another 10-12 centimeters and extend the safe operation of Chernavoda reactor 2, sinking the 4 barges remains essential. FIFA President Gianni Infantino is set to remain in office following an emergency crisis meeting with senior executives in Rabat on Wednesday. The high-level talks followed a fierce international backlash over a private investment plan. The proposed commercial subsidiary, dubbed FIFA Forward Enterprise, sought to raise up to $4.2 billion based on an initial $20 billion valuation. FIFA released an official statement acknowledging that errors were made, confirming letters of apology were dispatched to member associations while reaffirming the plan has been binned. Despite FIFA management declaring full support for Infantino, hostility across the sport continues to escalate. European governing body UEFA threatened to boycott FIFA events, while member associations including Wales, Serbia and Sweden formally withdrew backing for his re-election. The political fallout deepened as former player Luis Figo and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney publicly called for Infantino's immediate resignation.
Proper governance.
The crisis adds to existing scrutiny surrounding Infantino's leadership during the 2026 World Cup across North America and ongoing disputes over host allocation process for the 2030 tournament. London Metropolitan Police have arrested a 47-year-old woman after 4 men were stabbed in Covent Garden on Wednesday afternoon. Emergency services responded to reports of a violent attack in the busy shopping district at around 12:30 p.m. Paramedics treated 4 men, aged 34, 39, 42 and 52 before transporting them to major trauma centers as a priority. 2 victims remain hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries, while 2 others have been discharged. Witnesses reported seeing police officers deploy tasers to detain the suspect, who was known locally in the area. Officers seized a pair of scissors at the scene. Authorities cordoned off the streets for several hours, with air ambulance crews landing in nearby Trafalgar Square. Detectives confirmed the investigation remains at an early stage, but is currently being treated as a mental health-related incident.
Abdul El-Sayed has won Michigan's Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate, narrowly defeating establishment candidate Haley Stevens in a victory for the party's progressive wing in the battleground state. Stevens called El-Sayed to concede on Wednesday, and she issued a statement saying she would back El-Sayed's candidacy.
This country of ours, this America of ours, is more than a flag, it's more than a set of colors. If you're a patriot, then you better fight for an America that is America for all of her kids. That's what this is about, building a movement to take our democracy back, to serve the people who absolutely deserve the best of what America has to offer them.
El-Sayed overcame tens of millions of dollars in outside spending supporting Stevens, including a record intervention by groups aligned with the influential pro-Israel lobby AIPAC. His win, however slim, represents a significant shift for the Democratic Party, as he campaigned on Medicare for All, halting military aid to Israel, and campaign finance reform. He had support from progressive leaders, including Senator Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who framed the race as a grassroots-focused movement and broader fight against the establishment. He now faces the more difficult challenge of uniting the party to defeat Republican candidate Mike Rogers in November, for a seat considered essential to Democratic hopes of regaining the Senate, where the party must defend Michigan while gaining 4 Republican-held seats.
Myanmar's former junta chief Min Aung Hlaing arrived in Bangkok on Thursday for his first visit to Thailand since becoming civilian leader. His visit comes in an effort to improve the country's diplomatic standings and gain political legitimacy after years of isolation. As a general, Hlaing led a 2021 military coup that ousted Democratic leader Aung San Suu Kyi. The move triggered a civil war estimated to have killed more than 100,000 people on all sides. Hlaing became Myanmar's president in April following state-managed elections. Since then, Myanmar has been trying to get back onto the diplomatic playing field. While the European Union has excluded Myanmar's leadership from high-level summits since the military coup, Thailand and other regional countries have tried to normalize relations with the country. Hiroshima marked the 81st anniversary of the U.S. atomic bombing of the western Japanese city on Thursday. The city's mayor criticized major powers for waging wars and resorting to nuclear threats. He urged them to stop justifying the possession of nuclear weapons as a method of deterrence.
今年開催された NPT 再検討会議では過去2回に続き成果文書が不採択となりました。その原因は他国に責任を転嫁し自国の行動を正当化する為政者の言動にあります。核兵器の非人道性を軽視し自国の繁栄のための武力行使を認めることは暴力を伴う報復の連鎖を許容し第3の広島、長崎を作り出すことになりかねません。
Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi, who attended the memorial for the first time as Prime Minister, said she will take a realistic approach toward achieving a world where nuclear weapons are never used. The ceremony, however, comes at a time of speculation that Takaichi's government may ease its non-nuclear principles.
我が国は非核三原則を堅持しており、唯一の戦争被爆国として核兵器のない世界の実現に向けた努力を The
bombing of Hiroshima on the 6th of August in 1945 destroyed the city and killed 140,000 people. A second bomb dropped 3 days later and Nagasaki killed 70,000. Japan surrendered on the 15th of August, ending World War II and Japan's nearly half-century of aggression in Asia.